Hunt 'em Big with Steve Bartylla. Brought to you by
There's a ton of talk these days about management, whether it's managing the habitat, managing the whitetail herd, which quite honestly is very much like herding cats. If you're talking free range, you know what's not talked about when it comes to management? Managing us, managing hunters. Or if you're going to be hunting somewhere where you're bringing in other hunters on private land, or it's somebody else's private land, and or if you're talking public land and you don't even know half these people, managing other hunters, that's a big deal. And let's actually start with the public land part. When it comes to managing hunters on public land, no, I cannot tell anyone else out there what they can and cannot do on this public land. You know what? If they don't have a right to tell me what I legally can and cannot do on that land, well, I don't have a right to tell them either. If it's legal, they have a right to do it, as long as it's within their morals and ethics and all that good stuff. But that doesn't mean that these other hunters can't mess us up horrifically. Anybody who's hunted public land understands they certainly can, and they often do. So, how can we manage hunters in that situation? Well, frankly, what I do is I do my darndest to figure out where they are and figure out where they never go. And that is where I go ahead and hunt. If you want to shoot any kind of animal with any age on public land, well, if you're hunting where everybody else is, how everybody else is, odds aren't very good that you're going to do it. Instead, how did that animal get to be mature? How did it get that extra age when everybody and their brother, well, they're not doing what we expect. So, focus on finding those areas that those other hunters aren't. When it comes to hunting with a group of people, management really starts with stands. And that is marking those dang stands as well as you humanly possibly can. When I think of managing hunters, I think of hunters having a good time and all being on the same page and hopefully being effective. Okay. A big part of being effective is not wasting all morning walking around the woods trying to find the tree, looking up in trees, and you trash the place. As long as a person doesn't have to worry about stands being ripped off and such, you will never, ever, ever have a hunter complain that it is too easy to find that stand was too well marked. And that, just simply getting hunters to and from their stands without trashing the woods, is a big part of success when it comes to managing hunters. Next, you're never going to have a hunter complain, man, that stand, it was just too easy to climb up in. Oh, geez, I sure wish I had to work a lot harder to get up in that tree. Heavens no. Make it so that those stands are as easy to get up into as possible. And remember, most of us are out there in the middle of summer setting tree stands. It's real easy when we're hot, when we're warm and all stretched out and everything, wearing minimal clothing to get up those trees. Now make it so you're cold as heck, you're stiff, and you're wearing 25 different layers. Well, actually, wear Huntworth with their heat burst technology, and you don't have to. But a lot of people are going to be wearing a whole bunch of layers, and when you climb those trees, all of a sudden that step that was so easy to get to before now ain't. Make it nice and easy to get up in those stands. Once they're up in there, they got to be able to shoot. Okay, so go ahead and go through the practice. When you're hanging those, pretend you're going to shoot in those various areas, and make sure that there's not going to be a stick you're going to hit, a branch, something like that. Okay. And the last really big part about managing hunters, quite frankly, is getting everybody on the same page as to what we are shooting, what we aren't. We do not have to manage white-tailed deer. We simply do not have to. There's no reason in this world that we have to manage white-tailed deer. As a matter of fact, managing white-tailed deer, I do it, I love it. But even I understand that it is herding cats when you're talking about wild free-range deer. It's going to be frustrating for a bunch of people, but if that is something you choose to do, and you are doing it, you cannot make it too crystal clear which animals are on a hit list, which aren't. And what you do is you go ahead and you take pictures of numerous pictures of every single one of them that are on a hit list. You take numerous pictures of every single one that aren't, share them with every hunter, have the hunters actually take pictures of these bucks on their phones so they can act. You do that, it gives them something to look at, study. I'm not saying you should be out and stand going, oh, here comes a buck. Okay, let's see. Nope, it's not that one. But the more we think about these things beforehand, the better it is.
Final thoughts, brought to you by Huntworth.
Managing hunters is a very important part of a successful season for me. When it comes to public land, I'm managing hunters by getting the heck away from them. When it's ground that I manage or I'm hunting with a group of buddies as a collective, you know what? Mark those stands so they're nice and easy to get into as long as there's not a theft issue. Make it so the stands themselves are super easy to get into, and get everybody on the same page when it comes to what animals we're after, what animals we aren't, if we're doing such a thing, and you sure don't have to. But you do those things proactively, and you know what? That season tends to come together a lot more effective.